Hello everyone and welcome back to the next part of this tutorial series. So last time we were able to get one chess piece to appear on the board, and the goal of this tutorial is to actually spawn the correct chess pieces in their correct spots. So let's get started. First we're going to need to open up our game script again, and let's just wait for that to load real quick. And we have a few more variables we're going to have to add up here at the top. So first of all, we're going to need to create a private game object array actually. So this is how we're going to create a two-dimensional array. And this is for all the positions on the board. So in order to create this array, we just have it 8 by 8 like that. We just say new game object and everything like that. And yeah, so this will be for all the positions. So we can access whatever chess piece we want and just put in the X and Y position. So it's 8 by 8 because the chessboard needs to be, well, just 8 by 8. So secondly, we are going to need to add another array for the black player. And let's create a game object, and it will be 16 because at the start of the game you have 16 objects. And again, we just can create another one for player white and have another game object of size 16. So the same chess piece is going to be in one of these two different arrays, and it will also be in this array. So because we're dealing with a game object, it can actually be in multiple different arrays at the same time. So yeah, it's just different ways to access the same game objects. So next we want to create a private string of the current player, and we can just have white start the game. And also another thing that we need to have is game over. So we'll be adding more functionality to this later, but yeah, we just want to be able to keep track if the game has actually ended yet. And yeah, I'll just add a few comments here real quick to positions and team for each chess piece, because this is a lot of code, so it's nice to have some comments for that. Alright, now we just need to scroll down to our start function here. And so we have created this position array, and we've created this player black and player white array, but we haven't actually filled it up with any useful information yet. So what we need to do is we need to create the actual game objects that are going to be in here. So to do that, we can actually start filling out the array, and the way we do it is with these squiggly brackets. So I'll just put it up there like that. And what we can do is just type create, don't let all that other stuff come up, and then put in the name of the chess piece, and then what position on the board it will have. So this create is a function that we are going to have to make ourselves a little bit later. We will be adding that in soon. So for now, we just have to put all the assets in their correct places. Yeah, so I just copied all the code over, so you can pause the video here and add everything that you need. So as you can see that you need to also have a semicolon at the end of your array here. So once that's all finished, all we need to do is add a for loop, and we're actually going to set all the piece positions on the position board. So we have our player white and player black arrays, but remember we need to add the position array. So this will be pretty simple, just a for loop. So we're going from 0 all the way up to the length of the player black array. We could have done the player white array. It doesn't matter which one you do because they should be the same length. So all we need to do now is set the position of player black and at position I. So when I equals 0, it goes right here, then it goes right here, and it just keeps on going up and up as this for loop runs over and over again. So we have player black And we can also do this for player white here. And again, we have not actually created the set position function, but we're going to do those things next. Okay, next what we need to do is go back to the chessman script real quick, and we have a lot more functions that we're going to need to add. So while these aren't useful at this exact moment, they will become useful in the future, and these are just getters and setters as they're called. So we want to get the actual export location in certain cases. Because this export is private, we can't actually access it from anywhere else. So we just need to create these real quick so that we can actually get all these different elements. So we also need to be able to get the Y board position. And yeah, you just type return Y board. So we also need to be able to set the X board, and then it takes in the X position, and then we can just set X board equal to X. And then we can also set the Y board, and that's just int Y, and then the Y board is equal to Y. So you might just be asking, well, we can just have this be public, right? And then you can access it directly. And that's true, but well, perhaps you want to add some additional functionality, or you want to have some protection for your code. It might be important to set it private. In this example, not super important, but it's not too much extra work. Okay, now let's return to the game script and make those last two functions that we need to make real quick. So first of all, it's public game object create. So we're returning the game object, and we just take in the name, this X position, and the Y position for the board. So we want to have a reference to this game object that we're creating. So we just create a general chess piece here, and we set its position to just 0, 0, and -1. And then again, we just do the quaternion identity. Again, don't worry about that too much. And I think I spelled it wrong. Let's see here. Quaternion. Oh, sorry, I forgot to set this to vector 3. So once we do that, then we need to actually access the chessman script. So this script right here. Remember, when you're accessing the object, that is different from the actual script itself on the object. So we can call get component, because everything that an object has is called a component, and we're just getting the chessman component here. And then we can set the name equal to name, because we're inputting a name here. We can set its X board position at X, which we're also taking in here. And then we can copy this and set the Y position. And then we can call activate on it. So we can actually activate the code that we have here, which we created before right here. So when it takes in the name, it puts the correct sprite on. So after that, we just need to return the object, because we've already set its position, we've activated it so it has its correct sprite, and everything should work just great. Okay, so that's for create. So now these are actually creating the objects correctly, and everything should be working. And then this holds all the objects themselves that are being returned right here. Then lastly, we just need to set the position of the game object, and we can just input it as object. So the chessman script, again, we need to get that. So we just do that same code that we did before, and then we actually need to set its positions. And in order to do that, we need to get the X board, and we need to get the Y board again. And we set this position equal to the object. And that's how we make sure that this positions board is also filled in correctly. So we already set the positions before, so now we just need to access the X and Y element of that position to put it into the array correctly, because the position on the array is the same position as it will be on the board. So that's all the code we need. I'll just go over it again to see if you missed anything. Alright, now we can close out of that, open Unity back up, and let's see if everything worked out. So yeah, you can see all of the different chess pieces should be in their correct place. If you see something look a little bit wonky, you can always go back to your code and make sure that all these numbers are exactly right. So yeah, that's all for this tutorial. Thank you for watching, and enjoy having these pieces now set up correctly. Next time we're going to be working on some actual functionality for this chess game, now that the pieces are all in place.